Hello and welcome back to the channel, and welcome to this brand new series, Dan Does Tactics, dropping every Sunday morning here on the channel. We are going to be looking at some of the tactics from FM Arena and leaving them in the hands of the AI and seeing how good some of these tactics are. They've been tried and tested by multiple people. We're just going to test them with multiple teams throughout Europe and see how the teams get on. If you like the idea of this series, please drop a like on the video, leave a comment down below, and don't forget to subscribe. And let's get into the video. Right, this is the website we are using, fmarena.com. The tactic we're going to be using in today's episode is the Zaz Blue 4.0 by Zaz. I've seen his name mentioned quite a few times when it comes to tactics. We are using tactics for the patch 22.4.1, and the tactic looks like this. It is a I've gone a bit too far there. It is a 4-1-3-2, 4-1-5 almost, with the inverted wing backs, the two ball playing centre backs, sweeper keeper on support, a roaming playmaker sat in front of them, two wingers either side on support, a shadow striker on attack, and two advanced forwards. We're going to look at the tactic in more detail when we get into the game, but the first team we're going to try this with is going to be Brentford in the Premier League. So the tactic looks like this in game, as we just said: sweeper keeper on support, two inverted wing backs, ball playing centre backs, roaming playmaker sat in front of them, winger on the left on support, winger on the right on support, shadow striker on attack, and two advanced forwards. It's a positive mentality, play out of defence, low crosses, work the ball into the box, extremely high tempo, in transition, roll it out, counter and counter press, and out of possession, force the opposition outside, much higher line of engagement, pressing much more often, prevent short goalkeeper distribution, and use the offside trap. I'm not sure what kind of extra instructions are on. Doesn't seem like there's any for the goalkeepers. Looks like we've got shoot less often, tackle harder for both fullbacks. Dribble more, shoot less often, stay wider, tackle harder seems to be both ball playing centre backs. The roaming playmaker, dribble more, shoot less often, move into channels and tackle harder. Wingers, shoot less often, tackle harder, take more risks. Shadow striker, shoot less often, tackle harder. And then the same for the advanced forwards: shoot less often, tackle harder, dribble more, and take more risks. So there's the individual instructions. There is the team instructions as well. This is the highest rated tactic on FM Arena. So we're going to do it with about 4 or 5 teams and see how those teams end up. Firstly, before we start, we're going to have a look. Brentford are expected to avoid, well, they've got a fight against relegation. They are predicted to finish in 18th place in the Premier League, so not a complete outside like Norwich, but not expected to stay up. So let's see how Brentford get on with this tactic. Let's simulate forward 1 year. Brentford 1 year with this tactic: 78 points from 38 games. They won 25 games, the same as Chelsea and as Liverpool, who finished above them. The only two teams to finish above them, third place, 30 goal difference as well. Level on points with Chelsea, missed out by 9 goals effectively on second place, a UEFA Champions League place, knocked out in the third round of the FA Cup by Manchester City, and winners of the Carabao Cup. If we go and look at the stats, Christian Eriksen was the highest average rating of all the Premier League players, 7.69. Sergio Canos got the most assists, well, the second most assists in the league with 13. Those are the only players that broke into the top threes. Let's have a look at how the squad got on in terms of goals and assists. Top goal scorer Ivan Toney getting 26 goals in 46 appearances. Johan Visa getting 18 in 42. Brian Mbeumo getting 14 in 42, and then the top assist maker Sergio Canos, 17 assists in all competitions from 35 appearances. That is an absolutely mental start to this new series. First team we look at win. They beat Brentford. They beat Man United, 2-0 in the final of the Carabao Cup. We look back to the semi-final. They beat Everton 7-2 on aggregate. Quarter-finals, they beat Nottingham Forest 4-0. Fourth round, they beat Newcastle 5-4 in what sounds like an absolutely barnstorming game. I mean, let's have a look at this game. 5-4 in the Carabao Cup this Wednesday night as we load up and go match report. This will be the goal they concede. Almiron into Hayden. Lewis as a simple ball over the top for Callum Wilson to get onto there. Just going to speed this up slightly. and Bomo dispossessing him. That's a cracking ball through for Tony, and it's a good finish. It seems like it's a very, very direct style of football as well. They're getting the ball very quickly forward into Canos. Great finish. Poor goalkeeping, to be honest, for a lot of these goals, and a lot of VAR checks as well. As Lewis finds Wilson in behind, once again dinks it over the goalkeeper. Seems like that is the way that they're conceding the goals as well. Balls over the top that are causing them all sorts of problems. Lovely little 1-2. Lozano getting in behind the defence in that right fullback position, beating the keeper there. I think that makes it 3-3. Murphy now to the byline, gets the ball in, spilt by David Raya, and Wilson, I think, is that a hat-trick? Yeah, hat-trick for him there at the bottom. So that's 4-3, and then Fosu, poor goalkeeping yet again. What is it with this patch and poor goalkeeping that I've noticed? I don't know if I'm the only one that spotted that, but there seems to be some really, really poor goalkeeping. It seems like the goalkeepers just don't dive since its latest update has been in. So, I mean, it goes to show 19 shots, 9 on target. It is a very, very attacking tactic. You can see that just by looking at it there. Very, very attacking. Looking at some of the results they got. They won 11-0 in pre-season against Clydebank. Go through some of their results. They started the season in fantastic form. Beat Newcastle 3-1. Beat Leeds 4-1. Birmingham 3-1 in the Cup. Beat Crystal Palace 2-1. Beat Chelsea 1-0. First game they lost was in September against Arsenal. They lost 4-1. Seems like when they've got beat, I mean, they're against Villa, they got beat 4-0. They got turned over massively there. Beat Tottenham 4-1, beat Burnley 3-1. There's a run of games here from November through to just before Christmas. 3-1 against West Ham, 3-2 against Watford, 2-1 against Everton, 3-1 against Man United, 5-3 against Brighton, 3-0 and 4-0 against Southampton, and then Forest in the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup. I mean, if it's not for this poor run here, they win the league. Liverpool, Leicester, Villa, Wolves, Man City, Spurs. If they don't lose those games, all of a sudden they are title winners in this season. So that is a little bit unfortunate. They finished the season in absolute storming form as well. Unbeaten from the 29th of January all the way through to the end of the season, which included that cup win over Man United at the end of February. What a good first team to look at. And now we're going to look at our second team while we test this tactic. So we are in France. We are at the reigning Ligue 1 champions, and that is Lille. They are predicted to finish 5th, 33-1. PSG obviously clear favourites, then AS Monaco, then Lyon, then Olympique Marseille, then Lille, like I said, at 33-1. Let's see how Lille get on. They are the defending champions in Ligue 1, so it may be slightly more biased, but because they were predicted to finish 5th, I thought it would be an interesting one to try. So let's have a look 1 year into the future. So here we go, one season. They became runners-up in what is the French Super Cup, knocked out in the quarterfinals of the French Cup. They finished third in what was a pretty tough group in the Champions League. Milan, Liverpool and Benfica. They finished with 8 points. Respectable, but didn't qualify, and then they got knocked out in the second round of the Europa League by Real Betis. In the league, they got 90 points. And let's just have a look at that. They won 29 games, more than any other team in the league. It's just that they lost 6, whereas PSG only lost 2, drawing 8. So it was a decent performance. We look as well. Yilmaz, top goal scorer in the league, well, joint top goal scorer in the league with Gamero and Mbappe. Jeremy Pied, third in the top average rating at 7.61. Neymar averaged 7.9 for the season. Jeremy Pied and Renato Sanchez getting 14 assists, joint top with Strasbourg's Robert Muric. And that's it in terms of the player stats for the league. Really good performances from Lille. They just missed out to a PSG side that didn't lose many games. They lost 2 games all season to Olympique Marseille and Lyon, 2-1 and 1-0 respectively. If we go and have a look at the goal scorers as well, Yilmaz 43 in 48 in all competitions. Jonathan David only got 15. Timothy Weah got 14. Jonathan Bamba also got 14, and Angel Gomez got 13 as well. In terms of assists, Renato Sanchez 19 in all competitions. Zagrova getting 17, Piet getting 15, Bamba getting 13, and the top average rating was Yilmaz 7.45. Piet was just below him on a 7.44. Good performances, but they came up against a PSG side, as you would expect, pretty dominant in the league, only losing 2 games all season, 92 points, winning the league, 82 goal difference compared to Lille's 65. And it's not a failure, but it isn't as good as what Brentford did in the first simulation of this. We're going to have a look at this as well. Look at some of the goals. 4-4 in a game against Milan there. They beat Liverpool 4-0. That is a fantastic result. Beat Marseille 4-1, Clermont 4-1, drew 3-0 with Benfica. There was some really high scoring games, lost 6-1 to Benfica. I noticed that Brentford lost 7-2 to Man City in one of their cup games. It seems like when this tactic doesn't work, it really goes against them. Beat Lorient 7-1 in a game there. Beat Eintracht Frankfurt 5-2. So as you can see, I mean, they lost 6-0 to Real Betis. They beat them 5-1, then lost 6-0. Absolutely mental. Then scored 7 against Nantes. This tactic is absolutely insane for goals. We're going to have a look at the third team now. So we're going to shoot over to a different part of Europe and have a look at the third team. Third team is FC Twente in the Netherlands, and they finished third in their league, 1 point behind Ajax. Feyenoord won the league. They won 27 of their 34 games, 86 points. Ajax finished on 80, winning 24. Twente actually won more than them, 25 games, but again lost more games than what Ajax did. Lost 5 of their 34 games, 79 points. 8 points clear of PSV down there in 4th, and a good number of points ahead of Utrecht in 5th place, 62 points there, 17 points. They also were runners-up in the Cup. They lost to Excelsior 1-0 in the final. Semi-finals, they beat Heracles. Excelsior beat Feyenoord in their semi-final. They beat Sparta Rotterdam 6-4 there. Third round, they beat Fortuna Sittard 5-1. We have a quick look at the stats. And Ricky van Wolfswinkel, ex-Norwich player, third top goal scorer with 24. He's the only one to make it into the top threes in any of those stats. So not as good there. We'll have a look at the goal scorers as well. Ugalde got 30 goals, Van Wolfswinkel got 29, Vlap got 27, Vaclav Černý got 17, and in terms of assists, Černý got 13 assists. Top average player was Joshua Brunet, 7.5, and Virgil Misijan with a 7.49, and Manfred Ugalde with 7.47. Some really good average ratings there amongst some of these players, but they just... I mean, the Dutch league is difficult in the sense of Ajax are such a dominating team. I've managed them in FM22 and they are so overpowered in this league. I think we only dropped 4 or 5 points all season in our attempt to try and win the league. So it is such a tough league to break with Ajax. And then obviously you've got the likes of PSV and Feyenoord in that second bracket below them. But FC Twente have broken into that. They've finished third. They've qualified for the Europa Conference League because the Eredivisie hasn't got, as I click on the wrong one there, it's only one Champions League group stage. The other one goes into the third qualifying round, and one Europa Conference League, and then there's European place playoff for 4th and 5th. So yeah, so not a lot of European places up for grabs, not a lot of Champions League places up for grabs, just the one group stage. So they've made it into the Conference League. It's European football for them. It's not a failure. Once again, they've made a cup final. Second team out of 3 to make a cup final. Just didn't get over the line there. If you look at some of their results, I think they can have some mad results as well. Fortuna Sittard 5-1, Ajax 5-0 early on here in the season. So go down, have a look at some of these. 18-0 in the second round of the Cup. That is unreal. 6-0 against Utrecht, 5-1 against Fortuna Sittard, 6-4 against Sparta Rotterdam, 5-2 against RKC, 4-2 against Heracles, 5-2 against NEC, 5-0 against Sparta Rotterdam, 5-1 against Heracles again, and 5-1 against Fortuna Sittard, and then 1-0 defeat to Feyenoord. If they'd have beat Feyenoord in that last game, I don't think it'd have made any difference at all. It would have banked on Ajax losing their last game, and they beat Vitesse Arnhem 1-0 in their final game of the season. So it wouldn't have made no difference nonetheless. Actually, no, wait, because it would have done, because Ajax would have still finished with 80 points. Yeah, that would have made them finish second, so, and would have got them potentially Europa League place if they'd have failed in the qualifying stages of the Champions League. So not a million miles away, and Ricky van Wolfswinkel really hitting top form in the league, 24 goals. Very, very impressive. We're going to go to our 4th and penultimate team of this tactic testing and heading over to Italy. So Italy was a tough one to pick. We couldn't work out who would be the best team to go for. We stayed away from the top 6, you're Inter Milan, AC Milan, Juventus, Roma, Lazio and Atalanta. and Atalanta with the 7th. So we went with Fiorentina and they finished 3rd in the league, 75 points. We go in and have a look here. They won 22 games, lost 7, drew 9, 75 points, 56 goal difference, best goal difference in the league. Ikone, second top goal scorer in the league with 22. Biraghi getting a 7.85 and Odriozola getting a 7.49. Biraghi 13 assists and Biraghi getting 11 player of the match awards as well. So really lighting it up, just couldn't quite get over the line. Knocked out in the 3rd round of the Coppa Italia as well by Inter Milan. Tough draw to get in the 3rd round. So 75 points. They finished above Atalanta on goal difference, although I think it might be head to head in this league. Nonetheless, they finished above them anyway. We'll have a look at some of the results. 6-1 there against Salernitana, 5-0 against Vicenza in the Coppa Italia first round, 7-0 against Cagliari, 4-0 against Genoa, 5-1 against Juventus, then they got beat 5-2 by Inter, 4-3 in a cracking game against Atalanta, 3-2 against AC, 5-1 against Salernitana again, 3-0 against Venezia, a 0-0 draw there against Spezia. That's a pretty freak one there. 4-0 defeat against Inter, 4-1 victory over Torino, 4-4 against Torino, 5-3 against Sassuolo, 5-1 Napoli, 6-1 Genoa. Like I say, this tactic is, if you want goals, download this tactic and go for it, because it seems like when you get beat, you're going to get hammered by teams. There's not many low-scoring games. Like I said, Spezia one there, 0-0, and a 1-0 defeat to Udinese there. But a lot of the games here, just goals galore. A 1-0 victory over Udinese. Udinese, both games finished 1-0. That must be the lowest. Well, they get Spezia 0-0 and 1-1. They just couldn't get the job done against them. And 2 of the lowest-scoring games are Spezia and Udinese. Couldn't find who it was there. Spezia and Udinese, 4 of the lowest scoring games in the whole season. Absolutely mental stuff there. And having a look at the squad, 26 goals for Ikone, Cabral getting 18, top assist maker Biraghi with 14, Cabral getting 11 assists, and the top average rating, as we said, was Cristiano Biraghi 7.84. Next was Nikola Milenkovic with a 7.31, so no one really getting close to Biraghi. And we've got one team left to try, and we've done the top flight with all 4 of these teams so far. So now we're going to drop down to the depths of England and we're going to have a look at Braintree. Now, Braintree are an interesting one because they are 300 to 1 in the Vanarama National League South, and the next team above them is Slough on 50 to 1. So in respect, they should be getting relegated with absolutely no trouble at all. 300 to 1 is a ridiculous price, especially when you look at some of the other prices. These 50 to 1, 33, 33, 33, 25. But we're going to put this tactic into use. I mean, I don't expect this team to be anywhere near promotion, but I also, judging by what the teams have done across the continent, I don't expect them to be in a relegation fight either. Let's have a look. Braintree, 1 year, let's go. So Braintree have had an absolute stormer of a season. They finished 11th, just midway in the league table. There's 21 teams obviously in this league. Midway 11th, 50 points from 40 games. They got to the 3rd qualifying round of the English FA Cup. They got to the 2nd round of the FA Trophy. Lost to Blythe Spartans there, lost to Ashton United in the FA Cup. If we have a look, did any of their players make the top stats? They did. Johnson and Clements, 2nd and 3rd in the average rating, 7.47 and 7.46. Bingham from Ebbsfleet was a 7.91. He was top of that. Lee Martin, 14 assists for Ebbsfleet as well. Bingham getting 50 goals. Wow. Did Ebbsfleet win the league? No, they didn't. They didn't even get promoted. That is unreal. 50 goals and you don't get promoted. Johnson, 12 assists. And then the other ones are the top yellow cards. Anderson and Conte getting the top yellow cards in the league. Let's have a look at some of their fixtures. So they started off in decent form, beat Oxford 3-1, Dorking 4-3, couple of low scoring games against Billericay and Emil Hempstead, 4-2 against Clevedon in the FA Cup 2nd qualifying round. They lost 2-0 against Ashton, 4-0 against Hungerford, 3-2 against St Albans. They beat Welling 3-2, lost 3-2 against Dulwich Hamlet, beat Tunbridge 4-0, beat Hampton and Richmond 2-0, 3-2 against Havant and Waterlooville, 3-2 against Chelmsford, 3-3 against Dartford, 4-3 against Dorking. There is some high-scoring games here that probably not as freaky as some of the top flight games that we've seen previously in this episode. 2-1 here against St Albans, 0-0 against Welling. There hasn't been many of them. 0-0 against Chelmsford. Probably more in this league than there was in any of the other leagues. Whether the part-timers could handle this tactic is a question. There's this run here as well from February into March. 3-1 against Tunbridge, 3-1 against Ebbsfleet, 3-0 against Maidstone, 2-1 against Slough, 4-1 against Hampton Richmond, 3-2 against Havant Waterlooville, 6-5 against Oxford City. What a game that looks like it is. So as you can tell, actually that run there from the 12th of March all the way through to the end of the season, I get the feeling that at the start of March they may have been around the playoffs, judging by where they finished, and they lost 18 games. They must have been around 50 points. They've got to have been around the top end of the table. It's got to be around this point when they were around 5th and they just drop away there all the way down to 11th. So they were in the playoffs and in with a shout of making the playoffs towards the back end of the season. They just fell away in the last couple of months, and whether that is because they're a part-time team or not, I'm not 100% sure. Certainly seems that way. Certainly seems as if the players would be very, very tired. But it's very interesting to see. This tactic has been an absolute whirlwind. As I say, this is the Zaz Blue 4.0. As I said earlier, the link to FM Arena and this tactic will be in the description down below. So it's been very interesting. So we've seen Lille finish 2nd in their league. We have seen Brentford finish 3rd and win the Carabao Cup in the Premier League. Braintree, who were predicted to finish rock bottom, finished 11th in the Vanarama National League South. Fiorentina, not one of the big 6 or 7 in Italy, they finished 3rd. And FC Twente getting to the final of their cup but losing to Excelsior and finishing 3rd in their league when they were predicted to finish in 6th. Been a very successful save. We know that the AI aren't great at taking advantage of what is given to them, but this is definitely a tactic that provides goals for and against. It seems like such a fun tactic. I might have to give this a try in a private save of mine just to see what you can do with it when managing it personally. But it has been very, very entertaining to look at. And if you've enjoyed today's video, as I said at the start of this video, please leave a like on it. Leave a comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell as well, and I'll see you next week for the next tactic video. Thank you and goodbye.